I don't know if we have to record, so we're not going to record. Okay, you are now actually live.
Okay.
Do not touch anything on the keyboard.
Oh.
The computer does not exist. All that exists is the chat box.
I still don't know why it reverses stuff, but yeah. And then, let's see.
I have no clue, dude.
That would be on the right. Okay. Doesn't. Okay, so I am live, correct?
Yes, you are live.
Okay, I'm waiting to see if anyone shows up here. Oh, Eva's feeling rather poorly, so. This is kind of fabricable together today. Hey Douglas, how's it going? Happy New Year. Edna? It's Eva. EVA, Douglas. Oh. Is she sick? I'm sick. Oh well. Oh. Anyhow, Eva's son is his new wife. Just left this morning. Been here the last 4 days visiting. It was a pretty good visit. We had never met Amanda before, and she seems like a fairly nice person. More importantly, she and Dylan seem to get along pretty well together. So, it was a nice visit. We went to the Mining Museum in Butte, the Museum of the Rockies in Bozeman. And there was a really, really interesting bookshop in Bozeman. Used bookshop, Isle of Books. There's some really nice people. They had pretty good sized bookstore with a lot of good, interesting stuff. Hello, David. She's over by the fire vegging out. I have been instructed not to do anything except on the chat bar there. And yeah, last night, well, yesterday when we were at the Museum of the Rockies, some woman walked past Eva wearing a perfume that maybe she was allergic to or something. It set her off pretty good, her upper respiratory stuff. And by the time we got home, well, before we even got to Helena, she was feeling so pitiful that she said she wanted to go to the emergency room. So we dropped her off at the ER, drove here. I got my car, went back to the hospital, and we were there till 11:30. Then came home, and she doesn't have anything serious as far as we can tell, but she's feeling pretty pitiful. Luckily, the kids didn't seem to catch anything, so hopefully that's the way it stays. Yeah. They had some interesting ideas on the YouTube and just social media stuff in general. And I thought some of the ideas had merit. So one thing they were suggesting is I could use shorts. And I thought, well, a short doesn't really give me much time to do anything. But it does appear I could maybe use shorts as, like, call it teasers. If I take a complete video, and I wouldn't use the shorts, I don't think, for just one listening, we're out in the hills doing our thing sort of videos, but the more instructional videos. You know, where does gold come from? How do you find lode gold deposits, stuff. Those I could make a short on, where I had some little clips and make something that's, I don't know, 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, without too much trouble. It's not going to be hugely informative, but it can have a link to the actual video. So if someone finds it interesting, then they could click on the link and go to the main video. And that I thought had some utility. The other thing was, this winter, hey honey bunny, this winter there's a couple of videos that I'd like to remake of my basic ones. There's the Where Does Gold Come From video. First of all, mention that it actually originally generated neutron star mergers. But also go a lot more into the magmatic waters and such as a major source of mineralized fluids. I wasn't really aware of that at the time I made that video a decade ago. Around here in the Helen area and stuff, that's a big source of mineralization. And the other one is the how to hand pan microfine gold, because I've learned a lot. And another thing is there's a big difference in panning coarser fine gold and really microfine gold. And so the behavior of the gold is significantly different and stuff. So I think if I made a video on how to hand pan microfine gold that basically said, if you're talking 400 mesh up to 10 mesh, here's kind of how things are going to go and what's going to happen. And if it's if it's all below 100 mesh, here's kind of how it's going to go. And I think I could make a better video. And another thing that they suggested, and I think sounds good, because, for example, Where Does Gold Come From? It's got over 1 million views right now. And if I wanted to replace that with another video, I'm going to lose all those views. They suggested what I could do is right at I can change the title. I can change the comments field and stuff like that without changing the video, I believe. And so the idea is to put in a link so that here's the latest version of this, click on this link, sort of thing. So I could make an updated and better version without losing what I've got. So I thought that was an excellent idea too. By the way, I assume everyone can hear me okay. I'm sitting back a little bit from the microphone. I can see the video quality, but I can't tell how the audio is. But I thought that was a good idea, because I've been frustrated. There's a couple of them, like the how to hand pan microfine gold and stuff, where I've made 4 versions of that, but it hadn't occurred to me how to. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. I don't think we want to mess with the settings or anything, so we'll call that good. Thank you, Douglas. Cheat no second. No, actually, this was today. I was checking the rooms out, and one of them had a bad smoke alarm, so I had to get another smoke alarm. and I found something in one of the other rooms that I needed to talk to somebody about and say, hey, this is not an acceptable way to do things. So that's why I've always got a pouch on me with a marker and a pen, and so I just do the marker thing. Now the cheat notes are up there on the whiteboard there. So essay. I thought those were some pretty good possibilities to kind of improve the channel. Again, I'm still hesitant to go to full type monetization. I don't want to play the algorithms that much. I'd get kind of buried, and I prefer not to do that. But I could get maybe better engagement without going too crazy, and then if it ever became important, I could go ahead and monetize or something like that. So, I say that's they seem to be some pretty good ideas. Again, I'm kind of a strange person with unusual motivations, so the standard ways people go about things aren't necessarily what I'm hugely interested in. But I think this is a good compromise. I said they were some good ideas, and I'll probably start working on it in a couple weeks here. Right now, Eva's sick. I'm sick. We're finishing up the work on the old apartment, and I'm in a couple of days. Lauren and I will go get another load of say we can get some more wood, and I'll need to stack that and deal with that issue, etc. Well, thank you very much, Shaggy. I'm a little more concerned about Eva than me, though she doesn't seem to be in any kind of imminent distress or anything. But she's been having an unpleasant time. So I think those are some good ideas to maybe improve the channel without changing it a whole lot. And I appreciate their input. And I always appreciate it when people try to help out. Sometimes it's, highly useful. Other times it's utterly useless. But as long as the motivation is there, I try and respect that, and the respect the people and everything. And so, late getting. Hey Ray, how's it going? What's the topic tonight? Well, we're talking a bit about the YouTube channel and some changes I could make. I'm not highly motivated to be a YouTube success. I know some people have had tremendous success, and it's been hugely profitable and beneficial in that way, which is fine. But I am focused more on trying to help people out and do things in the real world instead of the electronic world. And so the idea of making shorts, I don't think mine fits very well for shorts, but they can make excellent teasers with links to videos. I think I want to make a new playlist specifically so that if somebody's new to the concept of hard rock gold mining and everything, they might be a good placer miner or whatever, but they don't too much. They could just go to that playlist, and it's where does gold come from, how to find hard rock gold deposits, how to take representative samples, how to hand pan microfine gold, how to use hand panning for speed prospecting, stuff like that, so that in a relatively short number of organized videos. A person can get the basic hard rock gold mining 101 stuff in very easy to do. They wouldn't have to like look through my videos and stuff like that. It would just be all there. The how to do hard rock gold mining playlist. What do you think of that? I think that would be very helpful to a lot of people. Because, I mean, even when I'm trying to look up a particular video that I know is there for somebody else, I got so many damn videos. That's, it just is, it's a lot of data to go through to find the particular information you're looking for. You know? Well, thank you, Ray. I just want to, a couple of them, there's been new information learned and such that I want to integrate it without losing the views. For example, you know, where does gold come from? Plus, I'm going, because I got so many comments over the years of, where does gold come from? It comes from supernovas. It's like, yes, I know that. It's actually neutron star mergers more than type 1A or type 2 supernova stuff. It's a very specific kind of supernova, you know, but it was kind of beyond the scope of what I was thinking at the time. So I'll definitely include that in the updated version, and more focus on magmatic waters too. And so, I think there's a couple of videos I can do better. And by using a playlist, I can take some, like, say, speed prospecting the Dreamer Prime, or speed prospecting Tom's Mind, or whatever. I can put that in a spot so that someone who's going through the playlist, it makes perfect sense and is very useful, instead of they've got some information, but this is, you know, 70 videos in the future, and so they miss the application of the stuff I was just teaching them. And yeah, exactly. That was what I thought, Ray. I could use the shorts as teasers with links. I can go and put links on the old videos to the new videos, the ones that I've really updated. And then I can put a playlist there to where everyone can easily find a comprehensive instructional manual, so to speak, on the basics of micro scale, super low budget hard rock gold mining. And I think the playlist could consist of something in the neighborhood of between 10 and 20 videos and be pretty comprehensive. And that would be whenever I decided to update a video, I could change the playlist. And so any newbies that are coming to do the playlist, or old people that are re-looking at the playlist, will then have the most up-to-date, accurate information. And I think those are all excellent ideas. I'm going to have to do some learning, but hey, that's life. Well, thank you, David. And as I saw, that's one of the general topics. Another one up here, here, let me go get the pen. I was just kind of demonstrating to the kids what, you know, for example I would have to accomplish in a short, to actually replace a video with a short. So I hand panned some gold here. Now that's basically all gold. That's from sluice concentrates from the last batch we did out at the mill. And that's just part of the cons from that batch. So this is, I don't know, maybe the gold from 1 to 200 pounds of rock. Okay. And because of the situation, I wound up with a lot of gold in there, and I checked it out. This particular concentrates, there's hardly any particles below 1.5 thousandths. So basically, it appears that these concentrates are running about 400 mesh plus. And I presume that's an artifact of the sluice itself being kind of limited in what it can effectively recover. Of course, I might have just been kind of panning too quick and stuff too. It's just some quick rough data right now. And but that it seems to be doing real good down to at least 400 mesh without a problem. And that's not bad if you're doing a leach cleanup afterwards. So that to me seems like an excellent methodology. I may have to make up a new video on the hybrid type system. Hey Tom, how's it going? Send you some gold, Keith, huh? Tamales were expensive. Yeah, we don't get too many tamales up here, Tom. I got that paper done here, and I'll try and mail it out. I don't know if the post office is open tomorrow, but by the day after I know they will, so I'm planning on mailing it then. But anyhow, so that's another dedicated video, or a couple of videos, that I think I should probably maybe go from scratch on, is recovery, gold particle sizes and stuff, cold particle liberation versus exposure, that sort of thing. I should probably make a good video on that if I don't have one. Or integrate it, look at what I've got and maybe integrate some other stuff, re-edit it, and go from there. But I think a playlist that goes through some of the exploration and preliminary metallurgical testing and stuff like that would be extremely useful if it was all in one easy to locate spot. And even things like, how to do, basic surveying without using survey equipment, how to map things and such as that. And there's just a lot of information I put out over the year that's just going to be really, really hard for people to find. So if I go to the time to locate it, categorize it, adjust it when necessary, and then just put it all in one spot. And in things like the hand panning microfine gold, if I go to all my old hand panning microfine gold past videos and put up, to see the latest information, click this link here, stuff on it, I think that would be very helpful. Yes, and that is the idea, Shaggy. I think it would be a huge benefit for that class of people, but also I think it would be helpful for people like yourself when you're like, You know, I forget exactly what the details were on it. Make it easy for you to find it again. You know, um, and again, with my basic motivation as being how to help people, do things. I think that would be a very good idea. The Some of the stuff that Brian's working on with different stuff, the glycine, etc. Those are kind of interesting. But again, at this point, I could take those rough videos as I'm doing stuff. Once I got the whole process done, then I could edit all those videos down into a single video or something. And I think that would make it much more useful to people. And I think that would be pretty cool. So, yeah, I say that's basically uh, was a really good benefit of this the visit of the youngsters. Yeah, I'm sure it's not too hard, Ray. I'm gonna have to. I'm sure there's YouTube videos on how to make YouTube playlists and stuff like that.
I know how to make playlists and I know how to
Yes,
make boards.
so I don't think it's going to be very complicated at all. It's just something I'll have to learn. You take care, David. Be safe tonight. David says he hopes you get better, little one. Uh, exactly, Ray. Um, there's just so many different things that I've done, and we might even, depending upon how many videos, we might even make a series of playlists so that, you might have one on crushing, communition, and you might have another one on, uh, you know, particle size analysis. I really don't know. You could have a master playlist, sub playlist. I'm sure you can do these things. I just have to look and see how it's done and go from there. But that would be that'd be rewarding. And then I say it might help the channel out quite a bit too. I mean, right now we got what, 10 people watching, which is fine with me. But it seems to me that 30 to 40 is a pretty good number in terms of it keeps things going pretty exciting, get lots of input coming in. But once you get over 100 or like that, it just gets crazy. I watch a lot of these channels where they're doing a live stream or whatever, and it's like, holy crap, I can't even get an idea what's going on in the chat section. I mean, and I'm sure super chats really help on that. But I don't think I could do super chats without monetizing, and then monetizing means there's commercials and blah, blah, blah. My Adventure. Okay, I know who that is. Slicing micro gold. Huh. Let's see. Need more notepads. IT. My Adventure. Slicing micro gold. Okay. But anyhow, that's basically there. Does anyone have any questions or suggestions or anything like that at this point? Good little pause. Sluicing. Okay. Okay, Ray. Yeah, again, I suspect there's been tricks that were known in the past that they've lost the knowledge of that are a lot more effective than people would think. Um, big companies have different motivations than micro miners. They deal with different situations. They're up for big tonnage, lower grades, this, that, and the other. They can afford to spend $1 million to improve recovery by 1%. With us, if we had $1 million, we wouldn't need to mine. But anyhow, yeah, I'll check it out because I'm having pretty good luck with that little VDR sluice when it's the finely crushed rock from the impact mill, and it seems to work pretty well. So I suspect that there's stuff out there that is a lot more effective than people think. Oh, anyhow, yeah, that's the reason we didn't have a live stream last night. It was 11:30 before we even got home. Poor Eva. Yeah, the poor doctors over at the hospital, they were kind of busy, and I asked about it, and the answer that seems to make the sense is they built the hospital a while ago. The city keeps getting more populous, and so it just keeps getting busier and busier. Makes a lot of sense. So we shall see. I've seen worse in big cities with bigger hospitals with worse wait times and such. And they did a pretty good job in terms of service and cheerfulness and helpfulness and stuff. It's got to be tough to stay cheerful, etc., when you're running your ass off. So that was good. That is an excellent question, Ray, to which I do not have an answer. I do have a way of finding out. Because I have a vacuum flask, we could, after a run, go up there and suck like the first 3 or 4 grooves clean, pan that down, then suck the first 3 or 4 series of vortices clean, and do it that way. That would be an excellent experiment. Thank you. Hey, Paw Patriot. Yeah, they were a little better than that, Shaggy. And they were a bit apologetic about it. I mean, I've gone in there and been seen in 20 minutes, but they're generally not bad. But yeah, that's an excellent question, Ray. If you can remind me next spring when I can actually run the mill again, I'd be happy to do that experiment. Did you hear what I was saying, little one? Well, Ray said, how does the grooves on the VDR mat recover gold compared to the vortices? What's the difference? And it's like, right now I'd have no idea, but imagine running a pretty good batch, say 500 pounds over the VDR, and then taking the vacuum flask and going up there and like vacuuming out the first 3 or 4 grooves and panning that, and vacuuming out the first 3 or 4 sets of vortices and panning those and working that all the way down the groove. Wouldn't that be cool? That would be nice. Okay, Paul. Yeah, I have no idea, Ray. Yeah, I say it would be an interesting thing to check. Very good. I appreciate that. Because these are the sort of things that, with some fairly minimal equipment, it's not hard to do, and sometimes can be quite enlightening. Mockingbird Mineral District in the White Hills area. I'm not familiar with the White Hills area. I know where White Hall is in Montana here. And yeah, the VDR is basically like a dream mat. You know, grooves and then vortices and stuff like that. What hog mat do you? I'm not sure. It's not labeled, but it's basically a. It's got two different size, kind of a sawtooth sort of ridges, but it doesn't say exactly what it is. And there's a fine vertical square ribbing to start with as an indicator mat. But it's stuff that was already there, you know, that we had from a previous thing, and I'm not sure. But yeah, I always like to get more detailed information whenever possible. The VDR mat, Devon Gold VDR mat I get from Infinity Prospecting. I contacted them because that's who deals with Flower Gold Wizards, and they just gave me some. Yeah, that was pretty cool, and a small micro sluice. And so I say it's the Devon Gold VDR mat, but it was sold by Infinity Prospecting. Yeah, Pa, I have no idea. Again, it would be nice to test different ones. The mother lode catches superfine gold very well. Well, maybe I ought to check with Gold Hog and see if they've got some mother lode. Let me write it down. Mother lode hog mat. They would probably be happy to discuss. Hey, Mr. Virtue. Eva's kind of feeling poorly over there. I'm sure if I contacted them, they'd be happy to discuss the matter and recommend what they think's best. Hey, Adam, how's it going? I have seen some pretty fine gold come out of your dry washer, that's for sure. Bedrock. I think that with certain hard rock, you know, for certain mineral deposits, you might do pretty good with a dry separation, because you're going to pulverize it pretty fine, so that will help out. And it's a possibility. The one thing you wouldn't want, the dust would be incredible. Well, that would be cool, Ray. Do you recall what size that's 8-inch sluice, isn't it? That we've got? Yeah, Ray. If you wanted to send us some, What are you doing, you stupid thing? Sign into chat. No. Okay, little one, get over here. You closed the dockable window. If you'd like to show it again, use the dock.
Excuse me. Don't touch anything. Don't touch it.
Yeah,
Don't touch
say.
Oh my God.
I clicked on the bar where you said me to click on the bar to do, and it wouldn't do it. I say, it's just, apparently I've been sitting around so long, it just almost logged me off.
Don't pay any attention.
I put it right there.
Don't pay any attention to the thing to sign into chat. It always says that. Don't touch it.
Okay. So, here's our post office box. P.O. 1783. Illinois 59624. Click. Okay. So there's my, you want to send me some 8-inch wide. If you can get me some 8-inch wide, that's the size of our sluice box. You got months to make it happen. Because water is probably not going to be reliably and safely liquid until April at this point.
Can't do a darn thing.
So we won't be able to do anything until that point. You know? So anyhow, that's the mailing address. I would appreciate that. We'll give it a shot. I love to test exactly what's going on in the process flows. And quite often, it's fairly easy to do if you just stop the process and then clean out the sections using vacuum. And it's been very useful in the past, figuring out what's going on. Hey Lars, how's it going? Eva's a little peakedy over there, and I still got the sore throat. So anyhow, hey Chain. So yeah, that'd be an interesting experiment. And again, that's one of the things that I could do in the call it bunch of video playlist is put some, the Paleolithic MRI is what I called it when I was using the hydromatic jig. You just be running it and you're wondering where is everything happening. Just stop it and then start cleaning it out layer by layer. It also was very useful when I was trying to see how quickly the gold settles in a pan. Just 15 seconds, stop. Let it settle, decant the water, and then scrape it off in layers. And you can tell. Hey, Red Wing. So, again, just a basic methodology like that, somebody might not have thought of it. And just when they bring it up, it's like, whoa, okay. Because I don't know about you guys, but there's so many times I've been wanting to do, I don't know what it is. It can be various different things. I wish somebody made a tool, and yeah, somebody does make a tool for that. Just I've never seen it. I wonder how you do that efficiently. Well, I've never seen anyone do it efficiently. And just a little bit of information can sometimes make a huge difference. Just knowing that there's a tool, knowing there's a way to do it. You know, little things like that. You know, when you got somebody saying, well, how big is the particle size of that gold? That tells me in 30 seconds. Costs $65, lasts forever. You know? But if you didn't know these things existed or how to find one, you know. Oh, I won't need to cut it down. I say I'll have to put a little narrowing on there to do it, but I can do that. No problem. But yeah, it's that sort of thing. You didn't know they made these little pocket microscopes with reticles in them. The idea of being able to easily determine to the thousandth of an inch, or actually half a thousandth of an inch, how big a particle is, that'd be pretty tough. How do I do that with calipers? You don't. You do it optically. Piece of cake. And that's another thing. In the long run, if I wanted to go the monetization route, I could like sell these at a slight markup and put like a sticker on it or something like that, you know, the Hard Rock University sticker or whatever. Things like the loops and stuff like that. I could go the merch thing. That way I'd always have that option if I needed to. And so that would be helpful, but that again, that would be something easy if I was doing merch and such. There'd be a video, how to measure microfine gold with precision easily. And then it's like, and if you want one of these little gadgets, here's the link. You know, that would be workable.
I'm already planning this year. We're gonna get your Amazon set up.
Oh, good for you, Pa. You know. Hello, John. We do pretty good with the VDR on the Hard Rock Gold. Now, with Hard Rock Gold, depending upon the source, you can wind up with a mess. You know. Yeah, this is $65. You know, and if you want to email me, I could get you the link that I used. Let me write down my email. Yeah. So, yeah. It's I think they call it an inspection microscope. I'm not sure, but that's what it's designed to do, is to look at stuff and make sure it meets spec. Yeah, and say we've got the perfect setup for testing that stuff, because we've got, you know, gold way down into the 1,000 mesh range. And in the case of Montana B, it's 80% passing 2,500 mesh. 80% by weight, not by particle numbers, by weight. I wouldn't be surprised, Poker Face. Yep, let's say with Hard Rock, we deal with really fine gold. We deal with gold that just won't settle, period. I don't know. It's hard to tell how all these things interrelate and affect each other. We have such a complex system, both of distribution, the monetary flows, and the international system. Yeah, it'd be awfully hard to predict. But I don't think personally that you would get burned too bad buying at current prices, either gold or silver. I think that they're going to tend to hold their value. If you buy certain other things, you may lose pretty seriously. I don't know. I don't think you would actually do better with lighter mass honey bunny. For example, if you had a fluid with low viscosity and a density of 3, a specific gravity of 3, the rock would float off, whereas the gold would sink almost the same way. They have heavy media separation that they use primarily in testing labs, but they can play games. Here's one that you'd like, Honey Bunny. They took lignin, which is an organic molecule. It's basically the glue that holds wood together. Attached ferromagnetic iron groups to the lignin, and then by changing the magnetic field, you had a variable density liquid, so you could literally float off whatever you want, as long as it wasn't ferromagnetic. If it wasn't magnetic, you could increase the density until the silica floated off, and increase the density more where the barite would float. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Yeah, that's exactly right, Honey Bunny. I say, it's just weird, some of the stuff they use. Anyhow, my passion is to make a good, profitable hard rock gold mine. Currently, top of the hill is an interesting area. Got a fair amount tied up. There's a lot of old mines there, and we're going to spend some effort this winter trying to get some information on some of them that'll help us potentially exploit them. Aside from that, we're also going to see what we can do in terms of researching for other mines, plus our usual just people coming to us and with information, opportunities, and things like that. So we're going to try and get a good operating mine here as soon as we can, but luck is a fair portion of that. That makes it tough. Yeah, right, but that's what I'm saying. If there's zero flow and it won't settle, it makes it kind of hard. And that stuff at Montana B, you could have still water for a minute and it would still be floating in it. Not on it, in it. Well, Poker Face, as a matter of fact, I have a guy who's looking at potentially selling a couple of claims. They're between Helena and Bozeman. And one is an old silver mine, and one is an old gold mine. The gold mine has amazing views. It's not too hard to get to. Silver mine's a little longer to get to, but not challenging. The gold mine's kind of small. Got about a 500-pound dump, 500-ton dump that runs about 1/10 of an ounce. But production was in the literature was running about 1 ounce to the ton, but just looking at the hole in the ground, it was pretty small production. There's a lot of other mines in that area that are there. And yeah, so would I, Poker Face. I say the other one was silver, and it was running like 20 ounces to the ton silver. I think it was lead, zinc, silver. It's up a little higher, a little longer to get to. Not quite as tough a road, but a much longer road. And we'll probably be doing some more information on that later. Say we'll be working on that this spring too. I have to look and get a good idea what the market is and what, I mean, these aren't our mines, but we would be getting a commission. I've done some testing. I'd have to review what the sampling showed, etc. None of them have what I would call a proven reserve. So, you know, that's the sort of thing. But if you're just looking for some place to play and has potential opportunities, sure, we got a couple that may work out. And just kind of keep an eye on things, and probably be 2 or 3 months before we get to the point of trying to potentially market those. The guy who owns them, he wants a producing mine, and both of these would take a modest amount of effort to even learn whether or not it would be worthwhile. Pretty sure both of them are on Forest Service land, which is not the best regulatory agency. BLM would be better. But anyhow, as I said, the pretty small mine that was running 1 ounce to the ton. So it's got some possibilities there. I really don't know. It'd be interesting to maybe get an exploration permit and rearrange the dirt just a little bit, and confine it to the previously disturbed area. Might work out okay. I don't know. But yeah, the view was wonderful. And yeah, say we got a number of different things. I'm getting the feeling that there's going to be a little bit of change in my circumstances in the near future. It's one of those times of shifting a little. That's why I may market monetize the channel or something like that. But
I don't want to monetize the channel through YouTube.
Yeah, Eva's like, I don't want to monetize the channel through YouTube. Pardon?
Want to develop merch or get your Amazon account set up so that people can buy things through your Amazon link and you get money.
Yeah, she's looking more for monetizing through merch and stuff. I don't know. I think I need to be open to some changes, and then again, just look around, try some stuff out, and go from there. But I'm not planning on selling my soul. I think there's people out there that are doing a good job of playing the algorithms, monetizing the situation, and not being disreputable about it. Like I've got respect for Jason at Flower Gold Wizards, because he seems to be doing a good job of playing the games without being dishonest in the slightest, and that's perfectly acceptable. Some other people I've seen that the two things that I don't want to be is dishonest, or what you call it, playing the clown, so to speak, or whatever. There's some people that use the methodology of being very attention seeking or whatever. That's not my thing. And oh, that's different Jason, Shaggy. That's Jason at Mount Baker. You know, that's another possibility, right? Especially nobody sells hard rock pay dirt bags. You know, and so that's something we could definitely do. And it's, again, it's one of those things, it might work out pretty well. I just don't know. But yeah, merchandise, things like that, I can definitely see where there's some possibilities there. We like the idea of sometime in the future having, call it a tourist mine, where people come out there, they stay there for a period of time, anywhere from a few days to a week or two, mine the material, process the material, recover the material, and smelt it down and stuff. And they're, you know, it would be fun to, you know, teach people, you know, hands-on and stuff. That would be cool. Yeah, exactly, Shaggy. And he seems to have some pretty good grade, too. Yeah, there's a lot of claims out there for sale, Poker Face. I have seen, personally, misrepresentations. I have seen claims that weren't properly staked, you know, and I say that's just disreputable. If it was a properly staked and papered claim with a you know, with information that would allow the buyer to make an informed decision, I wouldn't have trouble marketing it. But I'm not gonna misrepresent things. One of these companies, which I'm sure that you're familiar with, contacted me years ago and said, you know, maybe you could, you know, and they were getting pretty new into it at that time, and they were saying, you know, maybe we could work out something, you could work with us and this and that, because I could tell they didn't know that much about the mining. And I said, yeah, I'm open to the possibility, but I just want to let you know that I will not make a recommendation where I haven't gathered the information and believe in the recommendation, whatever it is. And that was the last I heard from them. And since then, I have seen incidents which lead me to believe that I'm very happy that we parted ways, because they are not reputable. I don't want to say anything for legal reasons, but yeah. I personally have been involved in situations where they've dramatically misrepresented it or made, and usually the way these sort of represent, imagine how much, well, you know, I can imagine a bunch of stuff. The question is, what is the probability that there is X, Y, or Z there? I remember one case in particular where I was looking at one of the videos and they were pointing at a structure saying that this thing's got to run, you know, probably runs ounces per tent or whatever. It's like, or it was something like, well, if this was the case there and that's the case here, imagine what this might be running. It might be running, you know, 5 ounces per ton or something. And I was thinking to myself, no, it actually runs 0.06 ounces per ton, because I sampled that exact spot, you know? And it just, it annoys me, because they take money from people under false pretenses, but by using careful wording and stuff, it's not technically illegal. You know, there's weasel words and stuff they can use that pretty much shield them from lawsuits. And probably another part is, if you only spent $10,000 on a claim, are you going to spend $50,000 on a lawyer to sue? You know? Thank you, Chain. I guess it's a couple hours right here. Yeah. 6:30, is that it? Yeah, well, we started early. It's been an hour. Probably not going to be able to go too much longer. Does a claim have to be surveyed like when buying land? Answer, no. It's better. The claim corners typically take precedence to the paperwork. In other words, you have to put monuments on the corners. And if that monument is 5 feet from the description, then the monument takes precedence. Another thing that's quite often used, let's suppose that this was an existing claim, perfectly valid, etc. And then you wanted to claim this right here. It's very common to actually go onto his land a little bit and put your claim stake there. And then wherever the boundary of his claim is determined to be in a dispute, you own everything up to it. Because if you put your claim stake, say 1 foot to this side of his stake, then that means there's a 1 foot strip of land that is not claimed. And that can become a problem. And so I say it's not unusual to do a little bit of deliberate overstaking at boundaries. Another thing one could do, let's suppose that here's your existing claim, okay, and you could offset a stake just off of it this direction. You know, if this was like 1,450 feet, you know, patented claim, then you could go ahead and put one stake here, 1,500 feet apart, and that way you would get a little bit on each side and then down to the boundary. But their boundary takes precedence, and it's not actually claim jumping, it's just avoiding these abandoned strips. Because that could be a problem if you're trying to, let's suppose you're selling a whole block of claims, typically to another mining company or whatever. You don't want there to be gaps in there. Okay? Gaps are bad. Not to my knowledge, honey bunny. You know, yeah, they may have changed the law. It may depend on the area you're at. I mean, if you try to stake his claim here, that's one thing. But a little bit on the, another thing that I do when you have a, what do you call it? Patented claim that has surveyed corners, I will put a stake and call it an offset stake. You know, displaced monument. The actual position it's supposed to be at is his monument, but I can't do that because I would have to disturb his monument. So you can say the actual corner of the claim is this surveyed monument approximately 10 feet to the north of this offset monument. And that, again, it gets rid of these little strips. There's places where up near top of the hill there's a lot of patented claims. There's a lot of Forest Service land. When was it? In what, 2006 or 96 or something when they did those monuments, little one?
76, wasn't it?
She thinks 70s, but anyhow. Yeah. But anyhow, yeah.
Whenever that was.
The Forest Service paid a certified land surveyor to put in the corner stakes every time there was patented land on one side and Forest Service land on the other to precisely delineate the boundary. And so there's quite often that I've got those offset monuments, and it says the actual claim corner is 10 feet over there where that survey marker is put in the ground, because that hammers it. You know, it's perfect, but you cannot disturb somebody else's monument. Okay, that's a crime. You know, you do not disturb somebody else's monument. Mining law is complicated, honey bunny. It's bizarre in some cases. Things like the apex rule. Yeah, they've had some huge lawsuits. They've had wars. I mean, literally. I mean, they've had people shooting each other over disagreements on who owns it, because it does get complicated at times. Yeah. Yeah. You betcha, honey bunny. Say that. And that's why it's nice at top of the hill where we actually have surveyed markers. You know, those are also references which make it easy to have a really good idea where to put the other ones. But yeah, unless there's a no trespassing sign or a fence or something like that, as a general rule, yeah, you're perfectly allowed to go over there. And if it's an unpatented claim, it for sure is. But I remember one time when I worked at the Picacho mine, where there was a professional crew coming out, and that's exactly what they were doing. Was they were coming about 10 feet onto the private land and putting those monuments in, and real quickly, you know, the representative went out, "What the hell are you doing?" And the guy said, "Look, here's the rules, here's the law, here's what we're trying to do. We agree that everything that you own, you own. We're not trying to take, 1 square inch of your land. We're just making sure that between your land and our land, there's not a whole bunch of mess. Because we want to put a big giant pit in here, then some doofus like that Keith Bowen asshole, you come out there and stake that 10 square feet, and in the middle of the pit, we can't disturb the 10 square feet that's supposed to be dug out 1,000 feet deep." That can happen. Hey, Alex, how's it going? Now, in that case, Alex, I presume, again, the monument is the claim corner, not the place on the map. Was the plan to come out there later and survey them in with precision if needed, or what? Yeah, wind drift, GPS variance. I can see a lot of potential problems with that, but it's extremely fast. And especially if they open up a new area to exploration. Yeah, there's been cases like that, where they're just dropping stuff from choppers. And then they'll even have, in a case like that, they can very easily have somebody at the county courthouse with papers, all filled out and everything. And as soon as they're finished dropping the last stake, they call in and say, "Okay, stake, claim 126 is now staked." And the guy walks into the courthouse and files that paperwork for 126. And no, it's not random at all. They're doing GPS, you know. Oh yeah, Indians. Yeah, they got their own rules. Hey Dave, how's it going? Oh, we're a little peakedy over here, Dave, but we're hanging in there. You can't pinpoint anything over the ice or snow. You need to be ground level. In the case of Montana, it varies state by state. It's federal law, but the states decide certain details on what makes a properly monumented claim. And there were, in Montana, it is either a 4x4 post or bigger, 4 feet above the ground or taller, a 4 foot above the ground pile of rocks, or a tree 8 inches in diameter or greater, blazed on 4 sides. There may be other monuments, but I think those are basically it. So, yeah, honey buddy, but I tell you what, if you leave a little slack in there, you get it within 10 feet and your claims are only 1,480 feet by 580 feet, and you can do it in minutes, and they just opened up that territory. Yeah, what somebody else is trying to stake to, yeah, it can be important. I know that, what was that diamond mine, Alex, up there in the Northwest Territories? I forget that one. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. And that was the sort of thing. They opened that up, and it was staked like that. I mean, there were some big companies that were really racing. Yeah, you still have a certain lack of precision, but again, if you leave a little slack, yeah, you can get away with it. Yeah, but there was the first one. I mean, this was 20, 30 years ago. What was that big one? The very first one they found up there. I forgot what it is. But yeah, that's the sort of thing where that can really happen. You can also see how that could come in handy in a jungle setting. You know, something where you got a lot of bush, where it's really hard to bushwhack your way in. Hey, wage slave, how's it going? And by just being able to drop through the 20 feet of brush and stick it in the ground. I've been stuff along the Pacific Northwest coast that, oh man, driving cutting a path through it is just ridiculous. So dropping a post makes a lot of sense. Hell, that's stuff that even I were doing. There's the steep hillsides, brush, down trees. It took us an hour and a half to go 200 meters. That kind of stuff. It's a lot easier if you can just drop something and go chink. Lawn dart. So let's say that's it. Also, you can, what do they call that? I mean, basically, you can refile a claim. You can relocate the claim. So you could, do your lawn dart thing and then come in and survey it in with precision and relocate the claim. The main thing is you've got the rights and nobody else does. And then you relocate it. You still got the rights. There was no spot in time where somebody else could take it. Yep. And I say that's the thing. Some of this stuff is that would have been fun in the 80s too, because I don't think they would have had GPS. That would have sucked. Oh, with differential GPS, it's so much easier to drop from helicopter now. Oh man, I don't know how they would have done that to tell where your helicopter was. Wow. And I say that's why, but it's generally when you're pushing a weird situation. It's not the normal way, but if there's a lot of money on the line, especially if speed and difficulty is involved, yeah. Oh, that was what was it? It was in Borneo. What was that big $2 billion scam? Briex. Yep. Now, we don't know that he jumped out of the helicopter. That's what they said happened. It may have been that he had a little assistance, but that was never proven. Yeah, now that is a situation I would agree, Alex. Now they're stealing at that point. And we have had a couple of guys overstake some claims we had. And no, it was a helicopter. It was the head geologist took a dive out of the helicopter. But we've had a couple of claims overstaked. One, part of the problem was that the BLM was so far behind getting stuff on their website that at least one guy he didn't realize that we'd staked a claim. Now, he should have paid a little more attention when he took our paperwork out of the claim stake and put his own paperwork in it. That should have let him know. Literally. I am not joking. Let's say one would think that would, give one pause. But whatever. Once we contacted him, he did the research, determined that, yeah, we had a valid claim. He pulled up his stakes and didn't give us any trouble. With that kind of money in a third world country, Alex, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. I know the president moved to the Bahamas or someplace that doesn't have an extradition treaty, and he was just living openly with the cash. Yep, that's clearly an error, Alex. Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, it might be a claim block, but even then, 300 square miles? Good Lord, 30 by 10? Even stuff like Golden Sunlight doesn't cover that much territory. And man, looking at the maps, they've got, I think, about 5 square miles blanketed. Yep. Yes, exactly. You can overstake, but the first claim, really owns it. You have to adjudicate it. That's, again, the BLM doesn't seem to care a whole lot. They just take your money and your paperwork. Wow, that's crazy, Alex. Yeah, open pit mines, like Golden Sunlight near here, they just go out there and stake a whole bunch of contiguous 20-acre claims and buy up anything that exists, and stake anything that isn't already claimed and go from there. You can overlap it, hoping the other guy drops it, but on the edges, it's pretty common just to make sure there's not a gap. Say, if I got a surveyed monument to work from, I'll just put a displaced monument and just say, that's the claim corner. You know, but the monument's here, the claim corner's over there. Oh, that would never happen, Alex. Now, the thing is, though, I'll bet you could make a really good case that if you staked a claim on somebody else's claim, how did you get a valid discovery without stealing their stuff? Because if you just took a sample, sent it to the lab, well, you had to steal to get that sample. You see what I'm talking about here? You have to be very careful. Now, if somebody had a placer claim and there was an addict, okay? Oh, you betcha, Alex. That happens every single time, basically. But let's suppose you had a placer claim and there's a tunnel there. And you go and you walk in the tunnel, and now the placer claim only covers the placer. So the stuff underneath the placer is not theirs. They do not own those mineral rights. You could take a sample there, come in, and stake a hard rock claim over top of it. That used to be perfectly legal. I've heard some people say, well, the BLM changed the regulation on that now, or their interpretation now. Okay? Again, it's rather annoying when they don't change the law, but the rules change. Very, very annoying. So, you know, I would check whatever it is now. It may be different next year. I did some stuff down in Arizona where people had placer claims, but I had exploration information from a previous hard rock claim owner that had blanketed it, and I just used that as my discovery. You know, blanketed it with my claim stakes. I got some calls from a couple of placer owners, told them, yep, I understand. You own the placer rights. I only have the hard rock rights. I'm not allowed to disturb your placer without your permission. Yeah, exactly. And under what right do they have to ban that, Alex? You know, they do this arbitrary and capricious shit all the time. And until someone can hold them to account, we just have to deal with it. Hopefully, the tide has turned and they will go back to like following the law. Wow, what a concept. But we shall see what we shall see. Just a couple days ago, a major liberal publication suggested that perhaps the Congress should simply refuse to seat Donald Trump, saying, well, we think he engaged in insurrection, therefore we disqualify him, and therefore he's not the president. That could get interesting. As far as I'm concerned, this is a far from a done deal. And we'll see what happens. But it's interesting times. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Alex. We had a public meeting that we didn't tell anybody about. Nobody that showed up complained because nobody showed up. Therefore, yeah, fine. Again, now, those bureaucrats should be fired and threatened with jail. You know? And then I would be willing to bet you that kind of behavior would dramatically decrease. We shall see what we shall see. Interesting times. Okay. That was a pretty good conversation. Thanks for bringing that up. Anyone else got any questions? Yeah, Alex, and you know how to do that stuff. Yeah, again, those people should be fired immediately. and not eligible for rehire at any federal agency for the next 10 years. You know? And if you could prove it was deliberate and malicious avoidance of the law, they should go to jail. Yeah, everybody be careful out there. It's one of those weird nights where a lot of drunks are driving around and idiots are shooting guns in the air and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's not bad. And people forget that tar was not cool. That wasn't an asphalt emulsion. That was hot tar. So, yeah. Anyhow, Eve and I will do our best to get better. By next week, I've got a big, let me get it here. I think it's over here. I got this picture that seems to do a pretty good job of sealing. And my plan is, boom, that wasn't part of the plan. Is to stuff it with X-ray film, pour in my warm nitric acid, take, go to the green, and then just pour the nitric acid back out. We'll see how it works. I'm pretty hopeful. Anyhow, I imagine it could, honey bunny. Yep. I will, Ray. Yeah. As I say, I'm getting really tired of these government agents thinking they make the law. You know, they work for us. They need to follow the law. If we can get thrown in jail for years because we trespassed on the Capitol building, then they should be thrown in jail for years for deliberately breaking the law. Hopefully we will next week, Mr. Virtue. She's not feeling very good right now. So next week, hopefully. So anyhow, I think I'm going to call it a night before my voice gets any work. Does anyone else have anything to bring up at this point in time or any questions? I agree, Mr. Virtue, but she's feeling a bit peakedy right now. Oh. Go ahead and get ready, honey bunny. There you go, Alex. Eva's sitting over by the fire, staying nice and warm. I don't know if you heard her just cough then. She's had a bit. Okay, since nobody else came up with anything, we're going to call it a week. So happy prospecting. Keep it safe out there. And keep it safe tonight. It's a weird night. So everybody, thank you for showing up. Have a happy new year. And hopefully we'll have a wonderful year this year. Bye-bye. Okay, little one, log me off there whenever you do. Get this off the floor. It's taking even a little bit of time to get here, folks.